Euromaxx Highlights. And here's your host, Anne O'Donnell.
Hello and welcome to Euromaxx Highlights, where we put together the best bits of the week for you. Let's have a look at what's coming up. Need for Speed. The Goodwood Festival draws in lovers of classical cars. Beyond Borders, a contemporary art exhibition in Belgium moves to the beach. And Creature Comforts, we stop by the Hotel du Cap-Eden-Roc in southern France. Flat out and fearless. That is the motto of this year's Goodwood Festival of Speed. And for those of you unfamiliar with this event, it's the venue for classic cars and their followers in Britain. Well, in Goodwood, which is about 100 kilometres south of London, you'll not only find hundreds of classic car models on view, but you'll also get a chance to meet Formula One stars, past and present.
Around 500 classic cars from over 100 years of automobile history, including some of the rarest in the world. Racing legend Stirling Moss is starting here. In the 1950s, he won races behind the wheel of a Mercedes Silver Arrow. At age 85, he's still putting the pedal to the metal.
It's fun, but you have to be careful, because it's so valuable, such a special car, that having fun normally is really messing around. I wouldn't mess around with it. I show it great respect.
Stirling Moss has spent decades in the driver's seat. He was famous for driving a huge variety of cars. He's also a passionate collector of vintage models. When it comes to cars, few can match his knowledge or experience.
I can understand why they would improve with age, you know, because they're so special, and the techniques of making them the way they were made are not used. You get different materials now. It's difficult to know how much a particular car is worth. Very difficult until you try to sell it, then you know.
Collectors now have a new way of tracking down their next purchases. People here are checking the website of the Historic Automobile Group. Since 2009, they've been compiling an index that documents the value of vintage cars. Former investment banker Dietrich Hatlapa keeps track of prices over the past 30 years. That information then goes into his Hagi index.
Our main index, the Hagi Top Index, grew by more than 45% in 1 year. That was 2013. In 2014, it only grew by 15.8%. On average, the market has grown by 16% per year since 1980. That's more than any other.
People who invest in classic cars get a different kind of return from those who speculate on stock markets. It's about the thrill as well as the profit, as Formula One driver Nico Rosberg can attest.
I really like classic cars. For example, I just bought a Pagoda from 1970. Another thought is, of course, that it's an investment for the future.
The market for luxury vintage cars brings in about 5 billion euros a year worldwide. Ferraris, for example, have sold for up to 34 million euros. And a vintage Bugatti could now be worth 27 million euros. Pink Floyd drummer Nick Mason is another star who's invested his money in classic cars.
I don't collect them. I have them. I never intended to be a collector. I wanted to be a racing driver.
Goodwood also does a brisk trade in racing cars from a bygone era. 2 years ago, a Mercedes Silver Arrow from 1955 fetched 23 million euros.
Sports cars are the most interesting element in the classic car sector. They're always connected to performance and competition. And anyone who's ever driven a car, especially in competitive races, becomes part of its history, and that can triple its value.
Nico Rosberg thrilled the crowd by performing a lap in his current Formula One car. Anyone who bought it now would be able to sell it at a huge profit one day.
It's true that it's going to be very valuable in the future. But the problem is that when people buy cars from the 60s and 70s, they can jump in, turn on the engine, and drive off. It's different with this car. I don't know how many people you even need to get it going with all the electronics inside.
Though demand for classic cars continues to rise, the supply stays pretty much the same. So it's no surprise that every year they become more and more valuable.
Well, the World Body Painting Championships are underway in Austria, where you do not want to stand out from the crowd. That's because professional camouflage artists are busy blending bodies into the background for this competition. Artists from over 50 countries are taking part in a battle of the brushes all weekend to produce this year's champion. We caught up with the 2014 World Champ to see how it's done.
The challenge of camouflage body painting is to make the model disappear within 2 hours using nothing but paint and a brush. Johannes Stutter from South Tyrol has been a body painter for more than a decade.
For me, body painting is everything. It's my profession, my passion, and really my life.
Stutter also gives one-day workshops. Participants pay about 100 euros each. He captures this ephemeral art in photos and sells them as postcards or posters. His best-known camouflage piece is The Frog. Here he painted 5 models to create a single image.
The difficulties of camouflage body painting are, first, that the whole thing works only from one vantage point, and second, that the body is three-dimensional.
In camouflage body painting, there is a wide range of ways to make the models blend seamlessly into the background. Italian artist Filippo Iocco works with earth and paint, while Bulgarian artist Bella Follin makes her model disappear almost completely behind these lines.
You try to match the colors as precisely as possible, usually by mixing them, especially with motifs from nature. And you have to make a three-dimensional body look two-dimensional. For example, if you want the effect of a straight line, the one you paint isn't straight, it just looks straight from the right angle.
The World Body Painting Festival in Austria has been presenting the latest trends and awarding a world champion title since 1998. The International Panel of Judges awards prizes in various categories, including painting technique, brush and sponge, airbrush, and special effects. The tradition of the World Body Painting Festival draws many tourists to Perchach, Austria on Lake Wörth. More than 20,000 people come to the festival each year. Austrian Alex Barendrecht founded the event 18 years ago.
I was a young and dedicated tourism manager. Basically, all I wanted to do was bring some color to a pretty sleepy region.
Every year since 2009, Johannes Stutter has presented a new creation at the festival. In 2012, the Italian was crowned world champion.
The World Body Painting Festival is definitely the biggest body painting event in the world. All the body painters who come here look forward to it all year. It's such a big platform, such an opportunity for body painters to display their art. Nowhere else will you find as much of this kind of art.
Johannes Stutter is entering the competition again this year too, with a work whose theme is play.
The World Championship gets tougher all the time. Standards rise every year, but I'm trying to stay close to the top.
This year, more than 300 teams are competing, more than ever before. And Johannes Stutter hopes to win his second World Championship title.
Beyond Borders is the slogan of this year's Outdoor International Beaufort Art Festival in Belgium. And it is fitting since the event takes place on the beach. Now, 34 artists are displaying their works over a long stretch of coast. That was also the former stomping ground of the famous surrealist René Magritte. So we thought we'd have a look for ourselves.
A relaxing afternoon at the beach. But today, it's both a stage and a studio. The participating artists are presenting their works along the entire Belgian coast. Martí Anson from Spain is presenting an installation called Catalan Pavilion, Anonymous Architect.
This is a copy of a house that my father built back in the 1960s and 70s. It was just a vacation house for the family, so he didn't hire an architect.
Placed at the entrance of the De Nachtegaal Nature Preserve, his work also provides practical information for festival visitors. If you want to go on Beaufort's voyage of discovery, you need a map. The different exhibits are scattered throughout the region. That's part of the event's concept.
We want to bring the art to the people again, and so people have to search.
In all, visitors can walk and discover an area spanning more than 67 kilometers, like here around the city of Ostend. The art triennial is growing in popularity among tourists and locals alike.
We always come to the Beaufort.
It's famous, it's beautiful.
It's very nice to have some art in the sea and all the in the outside and not in the inside in the museums.
Interesting.
Beaufort is always wonderful.
In Ostend, you'll also find the Musée Promenade, a series of installations from the artist collective A Dog Republic.
It's an open museum. It's a museum without door and without wall, in a way, here. And also it's based on the idea also of improvisation.
The people could go from one side of the coast to the other side and encounter a process that we try to develop. And the process contains theater plays, music, prototypes for architecture.
Another of the French-Belgian collective's works is on display at the De Nachtegaal Preserve, a bamboo structure that you can just look at or alter if you want. The voyage of artistic discovery takes visitors along the coast through 3 nature reserves. Many of the works are hidden, like this one, in a birdwatching station, where you can also watch a film by Italian artist Domenico Mangano.
It's maybe a little hard to get here, but I think it's great to show art at unusual venues. It presents a real challenge.
Art and nature, Beaufort 2015 offers both, and visitors have 3 more months to explore the open-air exhibits at this year's triennial.
Well, if anything on today's show has inspired a thought or a comment or even a question, we always love to hear from you. So don't be shy, drop us a line. Here's the lowdown on how to reach us.
Email us at euromax.english@dw.com or visit our website, dw.com/English/Euromax. You can also write to us at DW Euromax, Voltastrasse 6, 13355, Berlin, Germany.
Well, the Italian city of Milan has always been a tourist hotspot. The cathedral there is the 5th largest in the world, and Milan is also the seat of many fashion houses, including Prada, which has just set up a new exhibition space in the city for various art projects. Now that Expo 2015 is also taking place in the city, visitors can pick up from a plenitude of attractions and things to do.
This is the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II in Milan, a 19th century arcade with a beautiful glass roof. For Expo 2015, the upper stories are open to the public for the first time. They offer a whole new view of Milan Cathedral. And Swiss photographer Irena Kung is taking advantage of that. She'd never seen the two buildings before. Now she's captured them in large format pictures.
First of all, it's fantastic to view the whole square from above. I especially like the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele and the cathedral in the background. And then I can go for a stroll up here all the way over to the cupola of the Vittorio Emanuele.
The gangway on the roof of the arcade is named the High Line. From here, the glass and steel construction can be examined up close, and the cathedral next door can be seen from a new perspective. Down below, in front of the cathedral, Italian artist Michelangelo Pistoletto has set up a temporary installation. It symbolizes a possible and desirable harmony between nature and technology. Next door, in the Palazzo Reale, they're presenting the largest Leonardo da Vinci exhibition in Italy's history. 120 paintings and drawings trace the artistic development of this Renaissance genius. One of the highlights is Da Vinci's famous Vitruvian Man, a study of the ideal proportions of the human body. And here's a freshly restored loan from the Louvre in Paris.
For the first time, we can see the Belle Ferronnière cleaned and with the original flesh tones, and with its extraordinary plasticity. We put it facing a sculpture by Da Vinci's teacher Verrocchio to show how Leonardo achieved the three-dimensionality of a sculpture on a flat surface.
The curators had machines built to match Leonardo's construction drawings. The Prada Foundation opened its art museum in southern Milan just in time for the Expo. The exhibition Serial Classics shows how sculptures have frequently been copied and reproduced from the days of antiquity. On the former factory grounds is a 1950s-style library and cafe designed by U.S. film director Wes Anderson. Patrizio Bettelli, who established the foundation with his wife, fashion designer Muccia Prada, are modern-day patrons of the arts.
This is a center that can be many things at one time. A museum or a gallery, depending on how we set up the program. We wanted a venue that's not always used in the same way. We wanted something that's versatile.
The museum's trademark is the former factory tower. World-famous architect Rem Koolhaas had it completely covered in gold leaf. The theme of the grounds is the interplay between new structures and historical buildings.
The elements of the courtyard, the street, are equally important almost as the spaces dedicated to exhibition, so that it's not only an art institution, but also a campus, and also a kind of really part of the city, almost a miniature city.
Back in downtown Milan, the city's harbor La Darsena, built in Da Vinci's time, languished in neglect for more than 25 years. But in the run-up to the Expo, it was thoroughly restored. Now it's turned into a popular gathering place for Milan residents and tourists alike.
Well, we're rounding off today's show with a trip to the Celebrity Hangout in the south of France, when the Cannes Festival is on. The Hotel du Cap-Eden-Roc is booked out by their red carpet clientele. Located on the Mediterranean, this place has hosted all the usual suspects of the last century's jet set, including Hemingway, Picasso, Marlene Dietrich and more. And after more than 100 years in the business, it hasn't lost any of its glamour.
The Hôtel du Cap is connected to the Pavillon Eden-Roc by a huge park that was completed just over a century ago. Ever since, this exclusive estate has been known as the Hôtel du Cap-Eden-Roc. Nestled amongst pines and palm trees is the hotel entrance, where Michel Babin de Lignac has been receiving guests for more than 30 years.
I want our guests to feel at home, even if the hotel has a 150-year-long history, during which many illustrious guests have stayed here.
The hotel's 9-hectare estate is a sanctuary from the outside world. That's a luxury appreciated by its prominent guests, many of whom are regulars here. Hotel manager Laurent van Hoegerden ensures complete discretion.
Here they can be sure that nothing and no one will disturb them, not the paparazzi or anyone else. The moment they enter the hotel, it's like being at home. Of course, it's a palace, but it's also a very private establishment.
Some famous guests have left behind a souvenir of their visit.
Dustin Hoffman. He's a really nice guy who's been coming here for a long time. He likes it here. And this is from Karl Lagerfeld, who's left us a lot of drawings. You can see he's very creative. And this is by Johnny Depp. It's a bit more rock and roll. But that's the great thing about Hôtel du Cap. It's open to that. And Sharon Stone. She's been coming here for ages and has held her Amphar Gala here for the last 5 years.
That's the gala to promote HIV/AIDS research that the Hollywood actress hosts each year. Her celebrity friends are happy to have an excuse to come to Hôtel du Cap.
The light here is spectacular, and I think that really draws people from the movie industry because it's so beautiful here.
Built as a writer's retreat back in 1863, the villa was turned into a hotel in 1870. In 1914, the Eden-Roc Pavilion was added, and the iconic seawater swimming pool, a hangout for the likes of Marlene Dietrich, Ernest Hemingway, and Pablo Picasso. In the elegant suites, which now cost between €1,000 and €6,000 a night, time seems to have stood still.
Retaining this spirit and this atmosphere is especially important to us. It's our most important goal. So we always keep that in mind when we change or renovate something here.
In the restaurant, the menu features Provençal specialties, as well as extravagant homemade desserts.
We choose our products very carefully to create a taste you don't get anywhere else. We want to offer our guests something unique.
When the Cannes Film Festival is underway, the Hôtel du Cap plays host to many gala celebrations and events. A-list actors, fashion designers and musicians from around the world flock here to bask in the legendary glamour.
The hotel's history is rewritten every day through our faithful guests and new ones who leave their mark on the place.
Now, as ever, a visit to the Hôtel du Cap-Eden-Roc is like entering another world, a legendary hotel that captures the history and glamour of the French Riviera.
That's unfortunately all we have time for today. If you missed any reports, you can always visit our website where you can catch up with all the latest in lifestyle and culture news. Thanks for watching. We are back next week with more, so we'll see you then. Bye-bye.